Minecraft just got auto-crafting. I kind of can't believe I'm saying that right now. It doesn't feel real, but it is real. It's here. We have the crafter block. It takes whatever crafting recipe you put into it, and when you power it, it crafts it for you. This is huge. It makes so many things possible. If you watched this video I made recently, you might remember I said that adding just the right block to the game could trigger loads of redstone innovation. Well, this is that block. It's easily the most powerful redstone component we've had since the Observer, and that was 7 years ago, so I'm pretty happy right now. And as you can see, me and a bunch of other technical Minecrafters have been doing a lot of tinkering the past few days. So for a lot of people, the first thing that comes to mind is making your farms use less storage. I've got a gold farm here, and if you've built one of these, you know that it's quite annoying to craft all of the golden nuggets into ingots and then into blocks. But this thing does it automatically. The only things in these chests are gold blocks, and it's really simple to do. You just have two crafters like this, one pointing into the other. The first one turns nuggets into ingots, and then the second one turns ingots into blocks. So just by adding two auto crafters, you can use 27 times less storage. That's a pretty good saving if you ask me. So this is a really nice quality of life change, but that's only the most basic use for these things. We can do so much more than just crafting nuggets into blocks. Have any of you played Tekkit or Factorio? Well, that's basically vanilla Minecraft now. For the first time in vanilla Minecraft, we can make factories. Full-blown factories. Just take all of the farms you'd need to get the stuff in the crafting recipe and link them together with a crafter. So if I wanted a cake factory, then I would need a chicken farm that collects the eggs, a sugar farm that automatically crafts the cane into sugar, an automatic wheat farm, and last but not least, a cow. Now, as you're about to see, unfortunately, this can't be fully automatic because we can't milk cows with dispensers. We have to do it manually. So, Mojang, please let us milk cows with dispensers, but until then, this is the best we can do. We just fill our inventory with dummy items, we milk the cow 3 times, and it takes those buckets, puts them into this dispenser, and then it's going to fill the crafter in the correct order, and it gives us a cake. And it also returns the buckets to us so we can milk the cow again. So we collect the drops from all 4 farms, and all of the items meet in the middle at this crafter. This is where the wheat goes, this is where the sugar goes, this is where the eggs go, and this is where the milk goes. I've set it up so that it only crafts stuff when there's 3 milk buckets in this dropper, because you're only going to get milk in there if you're using the factory. The rest of the farm is always producing items, so it makes sense to have it depend on how much milk there is. It could be perfect if Mojang just let us milk cows with dispensers. But once again, we can do far more than just making a cake factory. The crafter has also made bee farms way better, because they were never really fully automatic. Yeah, they would produce honey all by themselves, but eventually you would run out of bottles and you would need to manually refill them. And also, most designs required you to use 9 stacks of bottles per dispenser, way more than you were actually getting honey. But now, since you can auto-craft the honey bottles into honey blocks, you can now retrieve the bottles and then recycle them back into the system. So this whole farm uses less than a stack of bottles, and it never runs out. If it was a traditional honey farm, then it would be using somewhere closer to 72 stacks of bottles. And some of you may have noticed the pot in here, and you might be wondering what it does. This is a neat little trick that my friend Methods showed me. For those of you who don't know, the pot got changed recently, so it now interacts with redstone. You can put items inside it using a hopper, and you can also pull them out. And the useful part is that the pot can only hold one type of item at a time. This lets us easily separate the honey blocks from the honey bottles. All we have to do is store a honey block inside the pot, and then when we craft our honey blocks, the bottles get pushed out because they can't go inside the pot. There's already a honey block in there. In the actual farm, I have this sealed in, so the items don't go flying off, they fall into that hopper. And the last thing you need is this simple circuit here to stop all of the items draining out of the pot. We want to keep some of the honey blocks in here, otherwise the filter will break. So this trick can be used for any crafting recipe that involves filled bottles or filled buckets, like the cake farm. Something I really like about this block is that if you disable a slot, it gives you 1 signal strength, and if I disable 2 slots, it gives you 2 signal strength, and so on all the way up to 9 signal strengths. And the best part is that it matches. If I disable 9 slots, I get 9 signal strength. If I use a composter, then it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, Oh, it skips 7. It goes straight to 8. And if I use a barrel, well, there's 27 slots in here, but redstone only goes up to 15. So there's loads of guesswork here trying to figure out what signal strengths you get, because there's loads of weird rounding happening. 1 unstackable equals 1, 2 unstackables equals 2, but then 3 unstackables still equals 2. If you want 3, you have to put in 4 unstackables, and from there it just gets confusing. If I want signal strength 9, then I need 16 unstackables. But with the crafter, I click 9 buttons. The numbers match, so in the future, you might see me using crafters in my redstone, even if there's no auto crafting going on. I've seen that some people want this to go up to signal strength 15, but I really hope Mojang doesn't change this. The way this works right now is great as it is. In fact, I kind of hope Mojang doesn't change anything about this. This is one of the rare occasions where the block is actually perfect in the very first snapshot. It's a very polished block, and the way it works isn't too easy or too hard. All of this stuff is really, really cool, and I've had loads of fun playing around with it. But I wanted to see just how far I could push this. What is the craziest kind of factory I can make? Well, in all my years of redstoning, there's been one item that I've always found really annoying to craft. Redstone repeaters. I don't know, maybe I'm just whining, but I really don't like this crafting recipe. It would be so nice if I didn't have to do it anymore. Well, now I don't. This is a fully automatic redstone repeater factory. It's not a meme anymore. We now have a redstone machine that makes more redstone. This is basically just 3 farms stitched together. There's a bamboo farm to get sticks to make the redstone torches, a cobblestone farm, and a witch farm to get redstone dust. And all of that goes into this messy machine, where it gets crafted into redstone repeaters. Basically, all of this redstone is here to make sure that the crafter doesn't empty itself. If it does get emptied, that's bad, because it means we can't craft any more repeaters. We would have to manually go in and arrange the items like this again. So it takes the bamboo, crafts them into sticks, and then they get sent along this water stream down into this dropper, where they get crafted with redstone dust to make the redstone torches. We have a sorter here for the witch drops. Most of the items just go into these chests, like the glowstone dust, the gunpowder, the sugar, and so on. The sticks go into this water stream, where they go up the bubble column, then along this water stream, where they go into the furnace to smelt the cobblestone into stone. And the redstone goes into this water stream, where it goes along here, then up this bubble column, then along this water stream, where it gets shared between these 2 droppers. And here I found a rather interesting use for the crafter. So to make a redstone repeater, you need 3 redstone dust. 2 of that needs to go towards making redstone torches, and the other one goes in at the end between the redstone torches, which means I need to split the redstone 2 to 1. So I used a chest boat with 3 hoppers below it to split the items. 2 of them go towards the redstone torches, and 1 of them goes towards the final crafting recipe. But by itself, this doesn't work. If I load the chest boat with redstone using a hopper, then the items only go in 1 at a time, so they get taken out by a random hopper. They're not being split correctly. There's 3 hoppers here, so to split it properly, the redstone needs to go into the boat 3 at a time, and that's where the crafter comes in. All I need to do is craft it into a redstone block, and then craft it back again, which will put the redstone dust in 9 at a time, which is perfect because that's a multiple of 3. It will always perfectly divide the redstone dust 2 to 1. And yes, there is a better way I could have done this. I could have used a raid farm instead of a witch farm, but this is just a proof of concept that I put together in a day without the help of Lightmatica, World Edit, and other useful tools, because remember, this is a snapshot, and I wanted a factory that runs with the least player involvement possible. All you have to do with this factory is switch it on and be near it. But anyway, in case you couldn't tell, I am super hyped for the crafter, and I can't wait to do more stuff with it. Subscribe.